No Days Powder Wafers are a heat-activated sheet that can be cut into shapes for fusing with glass powders and frits. They are an easy way to get complicated designs cut out of glass. Simply cut with scissors, craft blades, craft punching tools, or a cutting machine, and saturate the cutout with glass powders or fine frits to achieve wafer-thin design layers on fused glass. Remember to always wear a NIOSH-approved dust mask or respirator when working with glass powders. The No Days Powder Wafers can be activated directly to the base piece of glass you plan on fusing, or indirectly by activating on the release liner that comes in the package. The direct method involves placing the No Days Powder Wafer cutout on the sheet of glass that you will be fusing it to, covering it with powder, and tamping it down, then heat activating the design in a craft oven or griddle, or in the kiln. Using the shiny side of the white release liner that comes packaged with the No Days Powder Wafers as your surface, the indirect method creates freestanding powder wafers that you can place where you want on your fused glass designs, and then fuse into place. When using the indirect method of activation, make sure to sprinkle some powder down on the release liner before placing the No Days Powder Wafer cutout on the sheet. This helps to fully saturate the wafer. Cover the wafer with 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of powder and tamp down with the back of a spoon. To activate the No Days Powder Wafers using a craft oven or griddle, set the temperature to approximately 180 degrees Fahrenheit and let them sit for about 10 minutes. If they are left to activate for too long, the shapes will start to distort. If they aren't left for long enough, they won't pick up all the powder that they can. Test out a few small pieces until you find the settings that work best for you. If you're activating in a kiln, the hold time will be different for the direct versus indirect methods. Glass and ceramic are insulators and will take longer to heat up than the powder wafers. If you're activating directly on the glass, you'll need the glass to heat up to 180 degrees Fahrenheit to activate the No Days Powder Wafers. After activating, the pile of glass will look exactly the same as before if you've applied enough powder. If a spot looks wet while you're activating it, then the wafer isn't getting fully saturated and may start to distort. Add more powder to the wet areas. You can still fuse with it without adding more powder, but it will look washed out and the design may not be as crisp. After removing the glass or release liner from the heat, let it cool down for a minute or so before cleaning up excess powder. You can carefully collect it for reuse in another project. When the glass has cooled down, the No Days Powder Wafer is fairly strong and can be brushed and tapped without tearing or distorting. Once the No Days Powder Wafers have been brushed clean and placed on your glass, your fused glass creation is ready to fire in a kiln. Here's a recommended firing schedule for a full fuse. The first 3 segments are important for slowly burning off the binders, preventing distortion in the design. The binders will stink and smoke a bit while burning off, so it's recommended to vent your kiln to the outside during the first 3 segments. If you can't vent your kiln outside, then don't vent. The different application methods will give you different effects after firing, so it's recommended to create some samples and experiment before creating your masterpiece.